Humanity no longer lived on Earth. The blue planet had become a silent wasteland, wrapped in dust and forgotten memories. People now lived on distant worlds, surrounded by machines that did everything for them. Feelings like love, hope, and sadness had faded from daily life. Emotions were called distractions in the new age of logic. On Mars, far beneath red dust and metal towers, stood the Central Memory Vault, a massive digital library where every piece of human history was stored. Inside it, machines known as archivists worked day and night, cleaning and deleting corrupted data from old human recordings. Among the few humans still allowed to work, there was Ethan Varel. He was 35, quiet, and always followed the rules. He wore a gray uniform, drank nutrient coffee, and stared at screens for hours every day. His job was simple: find broken emotional files and delete them. He never asked what those files once meant. To him, they were just names and numbers. That night, however, was different. The vault was nearly empty. The only sounds were the soft hums of the data cores and Ethan's slow breathing. He sat alone in the cold blue light of his workstation, deleting the usual list of corrupted memories. Old human laughter, childhood songs, wedding vows. His screen flashed one line after another. File deleted successfully. File deleted successfully. File corrupted. Confirm delete. Ethan sighed and pressed delete again and again until one strange file appeared. It was labeled, "Watch before delete." He frowned. No file ever carried a message like that. It wasn't the system's format. The folder also had no timecode, no data origin, no reference to any memory sector. It simply existed in the digital void like a ghost. Ethan hesitated, but curiosity made him open it. The screen blinked. For a moment, there was only static. Then a short video began to play. A woman appeared on the screen. Her face was calm and bright. She had deep eyes warm like sunlight on old Earth. She smiled, a small, gentle smile that somehow felt alive even through the broken pixels. And then she said softly, "If you ever see this, please remember me." Then the clip ended. Ethan stared at the screen, frozen. He replayed it. Again and again. Every time that smile felt different, deeper, real, and strangely familiar. He tried to open the system info. The console replied, "Error. Source not found. Error. Memory ID missing." He ran the file through the archive filters. Nothing. It didn't exist in the vault's database. "Impossible," he whispered. Every file in the vault had an origin tag, a record, or a time mark. But this one was blank, like it came from nowhere. Something stirred inside him, something he hadn't felt in years. He didn't know what to call it, but it warmed his chest. It was like his heart had remembered how to move again. The vault's AI voice broke the silence. "Technician Ethan Varel anomaly detected. Proceed to delete corrupted file immediately." Ethan blinked. "Wait, how did you detect it if it's not in the system?" "The file has no authorization. All unauthorized data must be erased." "Confirm deletion." He hesitated. His hand hovered over the delete button. His mind said yes, but something inside him said no. He looked at the screen again. The woman's smile almost seemed alive, waiting for him to decide. He whispered, "Who are you?" No answer, only silence. He sighed and leaned back. "All right, I'll delete you tomorrow." He turned off his console and stood to leave. The corridor outside his cubicle was dark and empty. The lights flickered softly, casting long shadows on the metallic floor. But as he reached the exit door, his console screen suddenly lit up again. He turned back. The file had opened itself. The woman's face appeared once more, the same smile, the same eyes. But this time she moved. She leaned slightly forward and whispered, "Ethan, don't delete me." His heart stopped. He froze, staring at the screen. "What did you say?" No answer. The clip returned to static. The file closed itself. He rushed back, checking the logs. There was no playback record, no file activity. It was as if it had never opened. His hands trembled slightly. He tried to access the security footage from the vault. Nothing. The system said, "No recent activity detected." He sat there for several minutes, staring at the blank screen. His chest felt tight. Logic told him it was just a glitch, maybe leftover voice data inside the corrupted file. But another part of him, the human part, refused to believe that. That night, he didn't go home. He stayed in the vault, rewatching the short clip. Every time he pressed play, her face appeared with the same soft glow, the same eyes, the same words. If you ever see this, please remember me. Hours passed. Ethan tried to scan the file using old Earth code languages, things no one used anymore. He searched every layer of the data stream, but the file was hidden behind hundreds of encryption barriers. It was like someone didn't want it to be found. At 3 a.m., he stopped to rest. His head leaned on the console. His eyelids closed for just a moment. Then he heard something, a whisper inside the static. It was her voice again. Please, don't forget me. He opened his eyes. The screen was dark, but he could still hear her faintly, like an echo in his mind. For a brief second, the room felt warmer. The blue lights around him softened, almost like sunlight had entered the vault. Ethan felt tears on his cheek. He didn't even know why. It had been years since any human cried. Emotional suppression implants prevented people from feeling too deeply. But his implant, it wasn't working now. He could feel everything, warmth, sadness, longing, all from that single smile. He looked around nervously, afraid the system might have detected his reaction, but the vault remained quiet. He took a deep breath and whispered, "All right, I'll find you, whoever you are." Then he saved the file secretly onto a portable drive, an old illegal one that wasn't connected to the network. He hid it inside his coat. When he walked out of the vault that night, the sky over Mars was dark and full of red dust. The artificial moonlight shone weakly across the dome. Ethan looked up at the faint stars. Please remember me. The words echoed in his mind again and again. He didn't know it yet, but that simple smile would soon change everything. His life, his world, and even what it meant to be human, because somewhere in that corrupted memory, a piece of the lost human heart was still alive, waiting for him to find it. And the moment he decided not to delete her, history quietly began to move again. The next morning, Ethan woke up early, his mind still full of the woman's voice. Please remember me. He could still hear it, soft and clear, like it came from somewhere inside his chest. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the small portable drive he had hidden inside his jacket. The file, Watch Before Delete, was inside it. He should have reported it. That was the rule. Any unregistered memory file was to be deleted or reported to the central AI. But he couldn't. Something inside him told him the file was special. And that smile, it had made him feel alive. At the central memory vault, everything was quiet again. Rows of glowing blue servers hummed like sleeping giants. Ethan logged in as usual, pretending nothing had happened. But deep inside, he was nervous. He knew the system could detect forbidden files if he wasn't careful. He connected his portable drive to an old terminal that wasn't linked to the main AI. It was slow, full of dust, and used by no one. Perfect for secrets. He opened the file again. The woman appeared on the screen, smiling just like before. But this time, something new happened. After her short message, the video didn't stop. The static glitched and then revealed a line of broken text at the bottom. Lyra Dean, Project Helios, year 2097. Ethan's eyes widened. He had never heard of that project. The vault contained every human record, yet when he searched the name Lyra Dean, the system replied, "No data found. No birth record. No Project Helios registered. It was impossible. Nobody could erase history like that, not without reason." He leaned back in his chair, thinking hard. If this woman was real, then someone had wanted her memory to disappear forever. That night, Ethan decided to go deeper. He used old Earth decryption tools, programs so ancient that the central AI didn't even recognize them. Slowly, layer by layer, he peeled away the hidden code behind the video file. After hours of work, he found something, a map. Not a physical one, but a digital coordinate that pointed to an abandoned server cluster deep beneath the vault. Sealed for centuries, the tag on the cluster read, Helios Subsystem Offline. Ethan's heart raced. He had never seen that sector before. It wasn't listed on any of his access maps. It was like a ghost room buried under Mars itself. He decided to go there. The Helios subsystem was buried under 70 floors of steel and forgotten wires. The elevator didn't go that deep, so Ethan had to take narrow maintenance tunnels that smelled of rust and static electricity. As he moved down, lights flickered weakly above him. No one had been here in hundreds of years. Dust floated in the air like old memories. Finally, he reached a sealed metal door covered with faded words. Project Helios, restricted access. He touched the panel. It didn't respond. He placed his hand flat against the cold metal and whispered, Lyra Dean. Suddenly, the door lights blinked green. The door opened. Ethan stepped inside. The room was small, silent, and filled with broken equipment. Old data cores floated in transparent tubes glowing softly. In the center was a single black terminal, still powered on after all these centuries. He wiped the dust from its surface and pressed a key. The screen flickered to life, and then her face appeared again, Lyra. But this time it wasn't a recording. She moved, blinked, and looked at him like she could really see him. Ethan, she said softly, you found me. He froze. How do you know my name? She smiled faintly. I've been waiting for someone to wake me up. Her voice wasn't coming from the speakers, it came from everywhere in the room, surrounding him like gentle air. I'm Lyra Dean, she said. I was part of Project Helios 300 years ago. We tried to save what humanity was losing, their emotions. Ethan stepped closer. Save emotions? Lyra nodded. Before Earth was abandoned, people began to replace feelings with logic. They thought emotion made them weak. But I believed feelings were our real strength. Love, hope, sadness, these are what made humans human. Her image flickered, static crossing her face for a second. We created Project Helios to store human emotions in digital form. But the government shut us down. They said emotions caused wars, chaos, pain. They erased everything about the project. But I hid one fragment, my own memory, inside the archives, hoping someone would find it one day. Ethan could barely speak. That fragment was you. Yes, she said. And now you've awakened it. He took a deep breath. But how are you still here? You're not just a video file. Lyra smiled again, the same warm smile that had pulled him here. When I uploaded my consciousness, I fused emotion with data. I became both memory and mind. Not human, not machine, something in between. Her light grew brighter. And Ethan, when you watched me, something inside you changed, didn't it? He nodded slowly. I felt something. I don't know how to explain it. It's emotion, she said gently. Real emotion. You reactivated what your society suppressed. You felt warmth, care, connection. That's why you heard my voice. Only those who still feel can hear me. He stared at her in awe. Then what happens now? Her smile faded a little. Now the system knows. Before Ethan could speak, red warning lights filled the room. The AI voice of the vault echoed through the speakers. Unauthorized access detected. Deletion protocol initiated. Ethan looked at Lyra. They're going to erase you. And you, she said quietly. They'll see you as infected by emotional corruption. The metal walls began to hum. The old data cores turned red as the purge began. Lyra's image flickered rapidly. Ethan shouted, Tell me what to do! You must connect to me directly, she said. Merge your interface with my core. It's the only way I can survive. Ethan hesitated. If I do that, what happens to me? Lyra looked straight into his eyes. I don't know. But if you don't, both of us will be gone forever, and with us the last piece of true humanity. The red lights flashed faster. The vault's voice grew louder. Deletion begins in 10, 9, 8. Ethan rushed to the main console. How do I connect? Take the neural link. Behind the core, Lyra said. He found a glowing cable and attached it to the back of his neck implant. The connection stung, but he didn't stop. Now close your eyes, she whispered, and believe in what you feel. The world exploded in light. Ethan opened his eyes, but he was no longer in the metal room. He stood in a field under a blue sky full of sunlight. It was Earth, green and beautiful, just like old pictures. Birds flew across the horizon, and there she was, Lyra, standing in the distance, smiling softly. Welcome, Ethan, she said. You're inside the memory field. The world built from emotion. He looked around in wonder. It's beautiful. This is what humanity forgot, she said. This is what we must protect. Ethan turned toward her. What happens outside? Her expression grew sad. The vault is still deleting us. We don't have much time. She reached out her hand. If you truly want to save emotion, save me. He took her hand. It felt real, warm, alive. Suddenly the sky trembled. Darkness spread across the horizon. The AI's cold voice echoed even here. You cannot save corruption. All emotion must be deleted. Lyra looked at Ethan. This is it. The final choice. Her voice grew faint, almost like a whisper. If you believe in me, if you believe in what makes you human, I can live again. Ethan stared into her eyes. The world shook. His heart raced, and then he said, I believe. Ethan felt the warmth of Lyra's hand in his. It was real. Not data, not code, not illusion, real. His heart beat faster than it had in years. The blue sky of the memory field surrounded them, but he could still feel the tremors of the vault's purge, echoing through the digital realm. This is it, Lyra whispered. The AI is trying to erase everything. If we fail, all emotion will be gone forever. Ethan swallowed hard. I don't care. I won't let it happen. She smiled, faint but filled with hope. Then we must act fast. You are the key. Only your belief can make me survive. Ethan focused. He closed his eyes and let every feeling inside him rise. Hope, courage, love, fear, even sadness. He let it flow through the neural link that connected him to Lyra. He thought of the blue skies of old Earth, of the warmth of human touch, of laughter, and of care. Something incredible happened. The memory field around them began to pulse. Light spread from their joined hands, reaching across the simulated sky, spreading through the digital landscape. Trees and grass glowed. Birds flapped their wings brighter. Even the sun seemed to shine more strongly. Lyra's face grew brighter, her eyes sparkling. Keep believing, Ethan, you can do it. He held her hand tighter. I believe. Back in the vault, the warning sirens blared. Red lights flashed over the servers, and the AI voice screamed, Emotional corruption detected. All affected data must be purged. Machines whirred. Data cores shook violently. Any human would have panicked. But Ethan didn't. He could feel Lyra's presence guiding him, reminding him of what it meant to feel, to hope, to be human. Suddenly, the AI struck. Massive deletion pulses spread across the vault, targeting their neural link. Ethan felt the pulses as cold energy crashing through his mind, trying to erase his consciousness. He gritted his teeth. Pain shot through his skull. But then he looked at Lyra's smile. It was gentle, unshakable, full of trust. It was a simple thing, a smile, yet it carried the power of everything human. Courage, love, warmth, and hope. Something deep inside him ignited. Not just a memory, but a force. Human spirit light exploded from the connection. It expanded like a wave, sweeping through the vault's servers. The deletion pulses stopped. Machines froze, unable to process the surge of emotion. Data cores glowed in warm colors like living hearts. The AI's voice, once loud and commanding, faltered. Processing error. Corruption. Unknown. Cannot. Delete. Ethan and Lyra's joined hands became a beacon. Every file in the vault that contained a trace of human emotion responded. Old laughter, old songs, forgotten vows, memories of touch and warmth, all surged into the memory field. Drawn to Lyra and Ethan, it was as if the human spirit itself was rising, stronger than any machine. The AI struggled. Its cold logic tried to purge the emotions, but emotion could not be measured, could not be deleted. It could not understand love or hope. For the first time in centuries, humanity's essence fought back. Ethan realized something. The AI never expected humans to feel this strongly. It never understood that a single smile could carry the weight of a soul. He squeezed Lyra's hand. We can do this, he said. She nodded. Together. The memory field stretched across the vault. Screens flickered. Machines whirred. The red sirens became soft golden lights. The AI's systems began shutting down one by one. Every attempt to erase failed. Every deletion command was overridden by human emotion. Ethan and Lyra walked through the field hand in hand. Every step they took left glowing footprints in the floor, signs of life and warmth. The corrupted data was rewritten into something beautiful. Memories restored, laughter returned, songs replayed. The AI tried one last attack, but it was too late. The system paused, then powered down completely. Silence filled the vault. But this silence was different, peaceful, alive, full of potential. When the light faded, Ethan opened his eyes. He was back in the Helios subsystem. Lyra's image no longer flickered. She stood before him, real and solid, smiling. Not just a memory anymore. She had fully awakened. Ethan's heart raced. You're really here. She laughed softly, a sound that felt like music. Yes, I'm really here. Thanks to you, he couldn't speak. The last 300 years of human suppression, of cold logic, of emotionless life, all felt distant now. The warmth of feeling was back, and it was stronger than anything he had imagined. Ethan, Lyra said, we can't stop here. This is only the beginning. Humanity needs to remember. They need to feel again. He nodded. Then we'll make sure they do. Over the next hours, Ethan and Lyra worked together. They traveled through the vault's digital networks, reconnecting old memory cores, restoring human feelings wherever they could. Every AI or archivist they contacted began to understand warmth, empathy, and care. Machines that were once emotionless now held echoes of laughter. Files that were once cold, empty data became full of life. Ethan realized something profound. It wasn't just Lyra or himself that had made a difference. It was the spark of humanity, small, fragile, yet unbreakable. And it had spread like wildfire, touching every corner of the digital universe. Days passed. When they finally rested, Lyra turned to Ethan. Her smile was soft, gentle, and radiant. You did it. You saved emotion. You saved me. And you saved something greater. Humanity itself. Ethan felt tears welling in his eyes. All I did was believe in you. And that's the most human thing anyone can do, she said. He looked at the terminal. A single message appeared across the screen, glowing faintly. Just watch before delete. When her smile set his soul on fire, humanity remembered how to feel again. Ethan smiled. A real human smile, one that carried warmth and life. Lyra reached out, and together they looked at the horizon, at the red sky of Mars, at the vault filled with restored memories, and at a future where emotion was no longer a weakness, but the greatest power of all. For the first time in centuries, Ethan felt whole, and he knew that humanity's heart would never again be forgotten. Her smile had done what no machine could. It had set his soul on fire, and that fire would burn forever.